Hello everyone in Oneness. Thank you so much for watching this video. In Oneness, I'm Jessica Delmar. I wanted to create this video because I've been getting more information and clarification about the 144,000 since my last video that I posted just a few days ago regarding the message from Ashtar and phase 2 for the 144,000 Lightworkers. So things have begun unfolding, and I wanted to put this information out there because it kind of opens up a new realm in terms of how I personally understand the 144,000, and therefore I hope it creates some more clarification for you as well if this information resonates with you. So what came through about the unfolding of the 144,000 is that the 144,000 is a vibrational frequency that people on Earth tune to on their journey of ascension. What also came through is that there are 12 frequency waves within the greater vibrational frequency of the 144,000, meaning that a person in their non-physical soul vibration attunes to 12 different vibrational frequency waves on their journey when passing through the 144,000 frequency wave. So what they basically showed me was kind of like a car wash, and how, think of the car wash, this automatic car wash, having 12 different phases that the car goes through before it gets out to the other side. The 12 vibrational frequency waves are these phases within the greater 144,000 vibrational frequency. So they showed me how it was kind of like this layer that you have to go through in your ascension journey or process as you move your way up. So our ascension journey is very much like a multi-layered cake, and one of these layers that really move us into the higher vibrations is moving through the wave, the vibrational frequency wave of the 144,000, which contains within that larger wave 12 different compartments or phases or sections, if you will. They kind of showed me these 12 different phases as gas tanks, because what came through is within each of these 12 phases, it can only hold so many souls, basically. So think of these 12 different phases as they're each different vibrational waves. So when a soul moves through the 12 phases, each one of these phases basically can only hold a certain amount of souls, which can be seen as sort of outside energy sources. So think of, like, they're showing me a waterfall that leads into like a pond or something. And, if you have 100 people in that waterfall and pond, it disrupts the energy of the waterfall and that water source. Versus if you only have, for example, 2 people in that waterfall and pond, the energy of the waterfall and pond is much more powerful and can transmute the energy within those 2 individuals. When there are 100 people within that waterfall and pond, then the energy of the people begin to outweigh the energy of the greater water source. It's something similar to that. Like, in Hawaii, we have a lot of touristy areas, and so when there's a lot of foot traffic, especially in, the high vibrational areas, it sort of waters down the energy of those vibrations, because all of this, the human energy and outside energy sources are disrupting that greater energy of the land. So I did ask about, at first I had thought that the 144,000 meant the amount, a number dealing with how many light workers doing a certain job or mission. And I know a lot of other people also perceive it that way as well. So I asked, Does the 144,000 have anything to do with the amount of light workers or star seeds on the planet? And what came through was yes, but also that people are moving in waves through this car wash in sets. If you think of each of the 12 vibrational frequency waves as sort of phases like we were talking about within this greater car wash, now think of each of these phases or each of these waves as, like I was saying, gas tanks or compartments. So each of these compartments or gas tanks can really only hold a certain amount of souls within each of these waves. I then asked about the 12 different compartments, the 12 different vibrational waves within the larger 144,000 vibrational frequency. And what came through is that each layer, wave, phase, or whatever you want to call these compartments, of the greater 144,000 vibrational frequency represents a planet in your solar system. Each planet in your solar system holds a vibration, and in the physical incarnation connected to its non-physical soul, when you're able to achieve vibrational alignment in harmony with each of the 12 planets in your solar system, you establish vibrational harmony between your physical, non-physical soul and your solar system. When you achieve vibrational harmony within your solar system on a physical and non-physical soul level, then you can begin the next phase of achieving vibrational harmony within your galaxy, then universe, and then open up into vibrational harmony with Source and oneness itself. So this kind of connects me to trilogy energy again, opening very strongly ever since that 4/4 portal in April, but really amping up and gaining more momentum and amplification here in June, especially with that full moon and the summer solstice all at once. But we'll talk about the summer solstice in another video. Because I'm not fully aware of the 12 planets, I asked, what are the 12 planets? And what came through is that the pole shift will make visible in your awareness the planets that are not visible. So this kind of coincides with other things that have been coming into the messages coming through for me regarding our solar system and galaxy, and how the shifts in the planet, such as the pole shift, as well as shifts in astrology and astronomy and things going on in the sky in our galaxy, also connected to the shifts of our placement in the galaxy as we move from our 3D placement in the 3D galaxy and solar system into our 5D placement in the 5D galaxy and solar system. So with all of these shifts being made, it's like what came through is new star systems are going to begin emerging for us. We're going to begin in connection with our amplification of energy and more people entering this 144,000 vibrational frequency, connecting to your star families, connecting to your galactic aspects, new star systems, new galactic beings perhaps, new planets are going to come into our awareness and consciousness and possibly in our physical reality. But there are going to be new things coming into our awareness. So people may, and I feel like it's already beginning, may begin connecting to galactic beings and planets and star systems that we are not as familiar with right now, but they're going to begin opening. And this sort of came through in a past video that I did. I think it was the June Ascension energy video actually, where a message came through from a constellation or a planet within a constellation that I myself was not familiar with. So things are beginning to open up a little bit more and be revealed to us. I'll put a link to that June Ascension energy below if you haven't yet watched or listened to that message from a planet within the Perseus constellation. So it doesn't surprise me that the information came through regarding the pole shift making visible in our awareness planets, the other planets within our 12-planet solar system that are not visible to us right now. This is also the time in bringing through this written transmission that my guides Abe brought into my attention and my awareness a book that I actually purchased and was drawn to a few weeks ago when I was in California traveling. And I haven't yet read actually, but the cover really grabbed my attention, and the summary of the book really grabbed my attention, so I thought it was something that I needed to get at that time. The book is called The 12th Planet by Zecharia Sitchin, and I'm going to put a link to the book below. If any of you have read it, let me know how it is, how it may connect to this information. It's possible I was drawn to this book, maybe not even for the information within it, but just to confirm the 12 planets. That's kind of how things work in my reality. But I will definitely dive into this book when I feel called to and see what comes up, because I feel like the 12 planets may be a big piece of information in itself that I need to kind of dive into when the time is right. So I'm not going to get too much into the 12 planets in this video. I'm going to leave that as it is for right now. And if it comes up later, then I will definitely create a video for it. But basically, I think that's all we need to know at this moment, that the 12 different waves within this greater 144,000 vibrational frequency represents our ability to tune and align with the 12 different planets within our solar system. This will then align us physically and non-physically on our soul level with our solar system. And that will then, coming out of the car wash, bring us into a place of new expansion for us to get into alignment with the greater layer of the cake, which involves more of the galactic energies, and then opening up into the universal energies and source and oneness itself. Now let's talk about the different sets that have already gone through this car wash or is going through the car wash. So if you are identifying with being part of the 144,000 at this time, then it's very likely that you are somewhere within these different waves of the greater 144,000 vibrational frequency, depending upon what you're going through and what planet you may be aligning to puts you in whatever compartment or gas tank as you make your way through this layer of the cake. But what came through so far, this is completely based upon my own interpretation and perception of the energies. So what I got is that there have been 4 sets of souls basically moving through the 144,000 vibrational frequency. Okay, so maybe this chart will make some sense. So we have the 4 sets of souls moving through the 144,000 vibrational frequency. The first set of souls moving through the 144,000 was activated by the energy of Jesus, Yeshua, on the planet. These souls really were the ones who created the Bible and other belief systems within our societies. Most were activated post-crucifixion of Christ. So the waves of awakened souls within the first set of 144,000 to move through that vibrational frequency, they were activated within the period of many, many years. And then what had come through was the first set's activation of the second set kind of encountered a little hiccup in terms of the belief systems and the Bible, especially being interpreted or misinterpreted, and especially with the rise of duality on the planet, it really hindered the second set from being activated from the first set in the way that it was intended to, I want to say, but not really, because everything unfolded perfectly, exactly the way that it was supposed to. However, because of that sort of hiccup, if you will, the second set stepped in with Commander Ashtar at the wheel to help kind of answer the call of Gaia, to bring forward this other plan of kind of moving a new set of 144,000 souls to awaken on the planet, but in a different way. So they couldn't necessarily be awakened through the first set as originally intended because of that hiccup through the belief systems and duality and lower vibration on the planet. So the second set was put into place to awaken through Ashtar command and the transferred consciousness of galactic beings, transferring their consciousness into physical incarnations to awaken in time with their mission of raising and activating higher vibration on the planet. What had come through is in the second set of souls that are moving through the 144,000 vibrational frequency, what had come through was the 3 waves of volunteers that Dolores Cannon spoke about. So Dolores Cannon was the leading edge creator of QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique. She worked with past life regression, and a lot of her clients brought through all of this information that we're now kind of seeing playing out, especially regarding New Earth and the Ascension. I just want to go over those 3 waves of volunteers. So basically through Dolores Cannon's work, like I was talking about, she came across information that was coming through her clients that spoke about the 3 waves of volunteers coming to the planet at this time to help in the ascension process. I'll put a link to the book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth by Dolores Cannon below in the description. But what came through in that book is basically the first wave of these souls and volunteers are now in their late 40s to early 60s, the baby boomer generation. Now, granted, Dolores Cannon wrote this book quite some time ago, and I'm actually reading a website on dolorescannon.com posted by Julia Cannon on March 9th, 2013. So this information did come through quite a bit ago, but it's still very relevant. So the first wave of souls now in their late 40s to early 60s, meaning that baby boomer generation. Just a quick description is basically they have had the hardest time adjusting to life on Earth. It's like they were considered the pioneers who paved the way for the second and third waves of volunteers. They were the first wave to open up, very connected to that galactic energy. I see a lot of them as the 144,000 transferred consciousness who didn't quite feel at home here on Earth. So they had a lot of that disconnection, but yet they were that first wave in order to pave the way for the second and third waves to really come in and make those adjustments. So the second wave, according to Dolores Cannon, is now in their late 20s and 30s. They have made the transition to life on Earth much more easily than the first wave. The second wave souls tend to work behind the scenes, often on their own, creating little or no karma. What also came through is that they can be described as antennas that unconsciously channel energy onto the earth. They do not have to do anything. They just have to be. They just have to exist. Their energy affects everyone that they come into contact with. Their paradox is that they are supposed to be sharing their energy, but they do not like being around people. Now, the third wave, according to Dolores Cannon, is a group of exceptional new children, many of whom are in their teens. These advanced children are already equipped with enhanced DNA compatible with the frequency of New Earth. They need challenges to keep them interested, not drugs to treat their misdiagnosed illnesses such as ADHD. They are the new hope of the world. So I was questioning, why did all 3 of the 3 waves of volunteers come through for me as part of the second set? I was trying to understand that. And basically that in itself describes the waves of people within a set that move through the greater 144,000 car wash, but not all at once. But they're moving through that vibrational frequency of the 144,000 in waves in different age groups. And so as they're making their way through the car wash, they are also activating other people. So in their ability to activate other people to move into the vibrational frequency of the 144,000, they are then activating the third set. The third set, what came through is that because these waves are so spread out, the third set is really under the direction of both Jesus and Ashtar, and that the second set possibly and probably unknowingly activated the third set, because especially the first two waves of volunteers who were not really that conscious of who they really were regarding their missions, or they kept to themselves. But the big thing is that just by holding their light, they are able to activate energy upon the planet, thus activating the raising of vibration on the planet, thus activating the third set of souls to move through the 144,000 vibrational frequency. And the third set of souls are kind of right now being activated. So they're still in the process of being activated right now. I feel like there are still waves moving through the 144,000 vibrational frequency of the third set yet to be activated, because what had come through is that some of the souls within this third set are going to be the future leaders of New Earth 5D. So I very much see kind of like the children coming in at this time, possibly being in those roles of the future leaders of New Earth 5D. They have transferred galactic consciousness in one way or another. I see some of these souls within the third set as kind of like the second set, where they're still very connected to the stars, bringing forward that galactic knowledge. But at the same time, I also see souls who are embodying different other types of energies within the universe, not just from other galactic planets or beings. Because we're moving into this higher vibrational space on the planet, higher than the second set or the oncoming of the second set on the planet, the energy of the planet here with the opening of the third set is gaining so much more momentum that part of this transferred consciousness is part of the ascension process, what we've been talking about, meaning filtering in your source within, embracing and embodying the source within and having that energy be expressed through you, embodying your higher self, your higher aspects that go above and beyond just your galactic aspects and your galactic origins. So within this third set, souls are embodying so much more greater, higher vibrational energy that is being embodied and expressed through them, which, thinking of the children coming in at this time and being born at this time, they're going to begin embodying such high vibration, and that would make sense for those, the children at this time, to be future leaders of New Earth 5D in the future. And so through this high vibrational activation of the third set of souls making their way through the 144,000 vibrational frequency comes the fourth set. And the fourth set is really, people, souls here in the third set who are awakened, they know that they're part of the 144,000. They know that they have these huge, big missions to awaken others, to spread knowledge, to do all this stuff within their purpose and their missions. And so they're awakening a lot of people on the planet at this time, thus coming the mass awakening and consciousness to be integrated within time. And so the fourth set is really led and awakened through the third set, meaning the fourth set's leadership is really the third set, versus how we needed, these other greater leaders of Jesus and Ashtar to get all of this into place, to get these plans into place, the waves of volunteers, the souls awakening insets, but now we are gaining momentum as a collective of light workers on the ground level where we can act as our own leaders or branches, if you will, of creating our own awakened waves of souls that we affect and we activate through our missions and purpose here on Earth. And so the fourth set is very much led again by the third set, and early risers of the fourth set are possibly already activated, if not already kind of filtering their way through the 144,000 vibrational frequency, that car wash, if anything, kind of in the beginning stages, but this will only continue on until all of the souls move through the 144,000 vibrational frequency car wash. And so I asked, where does the 144,000 journey fit into the 8 steps to oneness or the 7 rays of light? And what came through is that the 8 steps to oneness journey basically holds the 12 vibrational frequency waves of the grander 144,000 car wash, if you will. Definitely what came through is when a person is able to make their connection with their galactic aspects, then it opens them up into moving through this layer of the cake, and also in connection with the trilogy energy being presented and integrating within them on a physical level. Moving through the 144,000 vibrational frequency is very much about moving into that balanced, harmonious space with your body, your soul, and your solar system. And so that in itself very much represents trilogy energy. Now, I next asked, what comes after this layer of the cake, the 144,000, when the car finishes up all of these phases and compartments and goes to the other side. What comes next? What's on the other side of the door? So that's the other thing that they showed me was this, how I said it's like the layer of the cake that a soul moves through. It can also be seen as a doorway. And what's the next doorway? And what's the next doorway? So people are just kind of entering the doorway or door of this phase, which is 144,000 vibrational frequency, on their way to the next door and the next door and the next door. And what came through was that what comes next after this layer of the cake or this doorway of ascension is oneness. And lastly, I wanted to clarify something regarding things that have kind of been strongly coming into my awareness. So I feel I have to address this regarding dark and light. So I've spoken about this in past videos. I'll try to find it and put links below regarding your vibration that you're holding and your ability to interpret and perceive information, knowledge, even communication with other beings and other energies. The way that you interpret that information and knowledge and communication always goes through the filter of the vibration that you are holding as an individual. So everything here in a physical planet, especially a 3D planet that holds duality, has both a dark and a light side, a good and a bad, whatever you want to call it. There is a sliding scale, and the ascension process is about us finding balance in a way where we can kind of not necessarily disconnect from that sliding scale, but be able to raise our consciousness to be in a place where we can see the sliding scale for what it is versus taking such active roles within that sliding scale. That sliding scale being that scale between dark and light, good and bad. And so raising your vibration and opening up your consciousness into the higher realms of consciousness puts you in a place where you have that bird's eye view to see everything for what it is and how it's playing out, how it's serving a purpose, and kind of working within that greater stage, if you will, or play because our incarnation process, the purpose of having an incarnation is for us to experience something, whatever we chose to experience, in order for our greater soul to expand. And so, going back to the videos that I've done in the past, basically, you are creating not only your own reality, but your own universe. You are creating everything through your vibration. And so along the journey, we're all going to identify with different truths based upon our vibration. For example, if two people are receiving the very same information, those two people will interpret that same information differently based upon the vibration that they're holding. So it's like the lens that you have over your glasses are going to be completely different for two people who have completely different vibrations. This is why a lot of information can get distorted, especially during this time when that duality is becoming so strong within the 3D and 5D. But there is a lot of distortion. There is a lot of manipulation of information. There is a lot of differences in the interpretation of information, which is why it's always good to go with what you resonate with on a very, very deep level. When you receive information, always know that the way that you're feeling is the thing that you are putting your attention to, and the thing that you are then therefore creating for yourself. So the two pipelines that are being presented this month of June is very much like I was saying, 3D or 5D, fear or love. So always think fear or love. Those are the two pipelines that basically people are splitting off into. And so this goes into information that you're digesting and focusing on and taking in and integrating within yourself and activating within yourself. If it's creating fear within you, then it's most definitely aligning you to the pipeline of fear. If it's creating empowerment and love and purpose and light, then you are aligning to the higher vibrations. So always keep that in mind in your interpretation of the information that you're receiving. And always go based upon your own resonance and use your own discernment with how you want to continue creating your reality for yourself. So since that video that I put out about the 144,000, I had a few people basically bringing forward or it coming into my awareness that Ashtar, Commander Ashtar, is part of the Cabal or darker energy, lower vibrational energy. And, I haven't really brought forward a lot of information from Ashtar or connected as much with him, but from the very few connections that I have made with him, especially through client co-creation, has been of light. And so what came through was Ashtar walks in light with those who walk in light. Ashtar walks in dark with those who walk in the dark. As with everything, there is duality through your perception on a physical planet, especially through your 3D lens. Dealing with 3D is about discerning what is truth, and in truth is only love. But your 3D glasses have offered a spectrum of love and not love because you have chosen that in knowing not love, you can strengthen your understanding and knowing of love, and through that experience, gain more expansion. So that's what came through regarding questions that I've had about Ashtar being of the lower, darker energy. Again, it's all about your perception, your vibration, and that's going to affect your interpretation of anything, really. Not only your connection to other dimensional or vibrational energies and beings, but very much in your physical reality. But I hope this information was useful for you and offered some sort of resonance. And again, this is based purely on my interpretation, perception, and my own resonance. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Together with you in oneness, I'm Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.